Audiobooks are real books. There, we got the controversy out of the way. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Terry Magger. I'm an author. I'm an audiobook consumer. I'm an enthusiast for audiobooks. And I come at this from the angle of somebody who is, like I said, a consumer, an author, but also I was a professor for 8 years. I taught 5 years as a history professor and 3 years in grad school teaching science fiction and fantasy writing. So I was in an English program, an MFA. Over those years, I've accumulated some facts that I notice about humanity as a whole, which is people learn very differently. That no two people tend to learn exactly the same way. Some people read, some people hear, some people have to be spoken to. There's a lot of different ways to learn. Audiobooks, and I was an early adopter of audiobooks. Back in an ancient time we call the 1990s, I was an adopter of books on tape, where you actually had to go get cassette tapes that would befuddle about 35% of the population right now. Cassette tapes, you would listen to it. You would actually have to go through the onerous task of turning it over and listening to the other side, and then you would go tape by tape. That might seem archaic to us now, but the form is, while the delivery vector is different, the form of the spoken word is the same. Audiobooks are a way of reading, and the way that I know this is true is because I retain audiobooks. I can tell you multiple titles that have landed and stayed with me over the years, if not hundreds of titles. And let me talk to you as a fan, as a reader and a fan. If you've read your favorite novels 20, 40, 50 times like I have, if you've just immersed yourself in this experience to where it is second nature to you, an audiobook is a chance for you to meet your favorite people all over again. It is an opportunity to have that visceral thrill of the first time you get introduced to a character who became utterly three-dimensional to you, who became like a real person. So, and the other thing is, you start becoming a discerning consumer in the sense that some people like narrators, and narrators read, and then some people like performers, and performers do accents, and they do emphasis, and they use, gravid pauses to give impact to certain statements. There's lots of different kinds of narrators, but there's definitely somebody out there for most of us. Audiobooks, to me, were an absolute no-brainer. And here's another thing. I was extremely fortunate because I was an enthusiast for audiobooks. When I first started writing, I just got lucky down the line, and I listened to about 5 seconds of an audiobook performer, of an actor, and I knew that's it. That's the voice. There's just this intuitive click, and it went Rebecca Cook. It went, Henry did one of my books, Aaron Spencer, Julia Whalen, Gabrielle DeCure, Jeffrey Kafer, who's done, Jeffrey's probably done 50 of my books, and he just keeps getting better. So Ray Porter did one of my short stories, and it was absolutely wonderful. They're all different, but they all bring something to it, which is I can carry the memory of that sound with me in a different way than I would if I was reading. So I advocate for audiobooks from the simple standpoint that I don't know a lot of people who truly are enthralled with washing dishes. I do a lot of dishes because I cook all the time. But you put headphones in and you listen to an audiobook, and suddenly the burden isn't as heavy. You can mow the lawn, you can garden, you can work on cars. All the things that I do all the time, I'm listening to audiobooks. I am consuming media by choice that is thrilling, enjoyable, informative, educational, all these things. And I'm doing it in a format that didn't used to exist, or did it? And the truth is that audiobooks are just a logical extension of the oral history tradition. Long time ago, we used to tell each other stories, and that's how you carried stories forward. And then we began a digital and technological advantage that humans had not had before us, and we began passing them on in an electronic format. Well, that's, to me, it's storytelling of the highest order. So I always ask people that are, and the other thing is that audiobooks are not for everybody. Some people can't quite concentrate, or it doesn't, like I said, people learn differently. People learn in extremely different ways. So it's amenable to some folks, it's not to others. But probably more people than you would think would like audiobooks. It makes the day go by. It enriches your day. As I said, it lets you meet familiar, welcome characters and bring them back into your life for the first time. That's a thrill that I could never, ever replace. So anytime that somebody asks you, are audiobooks reading? The answer is yes. And to everybody else who wants to argue online, good for you, because I'm not stopping. And the business grows every year as we keep rediscovering new titles, new authors, and classics that have been recorded in a way that we never thought was possible even 30, 40 years ago. Once again, like, subscribe. If you like it, tell a friend. If you don't tell anybody. And I appreciate you being here. Thanks.